Hey y'all, I had an awesome opportunity this weekend to go to a Tibetan Buddhist temple that's here in Atlanta. We had the monks from Daeprung Losling Monastery visiting and creating a mandala for us. It's an amazing experience. Not my first time seeing the monks create a sand mandala, so I have some awesome clips and going to give you some background. Let's get to it. Hey y'all, Noah. Everyone who reads it must converse is the channel. Today, I'm going to talk about something a little different for BookTube, but not different from my channel, right? I'm going to talk about Buddhism a little bit because I love it and it's so rich. And Buddhism is a very tolerant and universal, forward thinking belief set, philosophy, what have you. And nothing shows it more than this sand mandala that these monks were creating uh, this week. It takes a full week for them to create a sand mandala, by the way. I'm going to show some pictures up while I'm just talking about it a little bit. In case you're not aware, they build a mandala out of individual grains of sand. They have these metal funnels with a very, very small opening on one end, and they'll pour the sand in, and on the outside of the funnel is ridged, and they have a stick that they'll just slide on those ridges, and it'll allow a very small amount of sand to come out, and they just direct where they want it to go. It takes them 7 days to create a giant mandala, very detailed, and it's beautiful and it's amazing, and it is temporary as as the wind, right? What we had a mandala made for us is of the green Tara. Now I'm going to show you a picture that I have of the green Tara. I can't help a little bit of the glare because you see this is like a 3D poster kind of thing I have. Thank you, Taylor, my oldest, for getting me this a little while back. The green Tara may be a bodhisattva that many have not heard of, although she is very, very popular in Tibet and Tibetan Buddhism for sure. The green Tara, the story of her is that she was a princess millions of years ago. And there is another point to note about Buddhism is that it's not just humans. It's not just this world. It's not just this world system. Buddhism is concerned with all sentient beings and the philosophy and the lifestyle that it proposes as, the right way, quote unquote, right way to live is concerned with all beings and their development, not just yours as a developing being, right? So the Green Tower lives on another world system and millions of years in the past. Not to say that she's doesn't exist now, right? But the Green Tara was a princess of this world system called um, Collective Light is the world system. And the Green Tara, her name is actually the perfection of light, I believe, is the translation of it. And she was basically a quintessential compassionate being, compassion towards all, compassion being her main virtue and quality that she was able to flex to a very, very high degree. Compassion is one of the perfections in Buddhism, which is an inexhaustible virtue, a virtue that you can't practice enough, right? You can always do more. It is completely un uncountable. No value could be placed. All compassion is worthy practice. And she showed great compassion. The leaders, governmental leaders, leaders of that world system come to her and say, You have an opportunity here, gain enlightenment as, and you you'll have to gain enlightenment as a male figure, right? But gain enlightenment to help beings grow and progress. That's how you can help people the most. And Tara, Green Tara, made a vow. Her first vow, and all bodhisattvas make a vow, is is where it starts, because you have to decide to do something before you do it, even if it's subconsciously or unconsciously. Everyone has made a decision to go toward or to do what it is that you're doing, even though a lot of people get into situations and they're like, oh, I don't want to be here. Well, the truth of the matter is that in the vow, attainment is assured if that vow is made with a pure heart, right? If that vow is true. And she vows to attain Buddhahood as a female. So woman power, right? The Green Tara vows to gain Buddhahood as a female, so that every follower who wishes to follow a female and to learn from a female, and that style, that temperament, that way of approaching enlightenment is shown. Okay, an amazing thing in a thousands of years ago, in a culture that is very male oriented and still is to this day. Tibetan culture is being and has been eradicated in a large part, and that's why there are Tibetan Buddhist temples that further the culture here, like in Atlanta, right? This is a transplant from Tibet, and the monks travel and they will do these mandalas. So here, I'm going to show a little bit about that. The sand that they use is just colored sand. You might see some of this kind of, I don't know if I can show it, just colored sand. And I have some more up here on my bookshelf, and it's been here for years. This is from other sand mandalas that I've seen done. Typically, the ceremony is very quiet and very meditative. The mandalas are built systematically and the same way every time. And these monks, it is a practice of them. And what is a mandala? Most mandalas are a depiction of a temple. You'll see it laid out, and you'll see 4 quarters of the mandala, and you see these kind of big openings. Try to imagine it in 3 dimensions, because that's what it is. It's a 2-dimensional depiction of a temple that you can actually enter, that you can actually look around. And every bit of this temple, everything in it, and every adornment of the temple is a symbol for something. Whether that be a mind state, whether that be an emotional state, whether that be a power, whether that be a virtue or a vice, or any number of the complex parts of being a human being, and how they relate in that temple, and when the practitioner approaches them, is exactly what the mandala is for. It is for working through, working in, and eventually synthesizing, eventually being able to take in the whole thing. Imagine, imagination itself. Imagination is the tool. Imagination is our great liberation. And I say that very seriously, because it is not just Buddhism, but all mystic schools of thought and all systems of growth and development that the human imagination is, and our will, using our imagination and our will together is our power. That's where our power sets. At the end of the video here, I'm going to show some of the video that I took of the monks, I only filmed the closing ceremony. This is a ceremony where they do their singing, chanting, and their instruments, and a monk comes up and ceremoniously destroys the mandala. And they sweep it all, and then they will, usually they'll take and it depends on the mandala. They'll take it and they'll offer it to a river or a stream and let it disperse into nature, into the world, right? This mandala, they actually offered it to all the people, and that's why I got a piece there. And we didn't go and offer it to any river or stream. But you'll see that the monk that is doing the ceremonial destroying of the mandala is using this right here. This is a vajra. A vajra is a kind of a wand. The vajra itself is fully symbolic. What it means, every single point on this thing, and the different stages of from where I'm holding it in the center to it flowering out on either side is symbolic and has meaning, and it is for directing your will. It is for having your will not fragmented, but actually all focused on one thing, right? Object of meditation, concentration, all these things are on the table, right? It is part of Buddhist practice itself. So all of those kind of things are in play with this. It's not just, look at this beautiful piece of art or check out this interesting system of thought. It's not like that. It is really about the growth of the humans that are doing it, but also the growth of those who are watching it happen and being able to take part in whatever capacity they have. The Vajra is an awesome tool, kind of like what we would think of it as a wand, where you direct your energy. You would, like how a Western occultist or something would have a wand. That's what the Vajra would be. The most popular Tibetan text is the Tibetan Book of the Dead, for sure. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, not only is it super interesting, but it is a great title. it's you just hear about it and people want to experience it. I definitely recommend it. It is interesting. I also wanted to just show one of my favorite pieces of Tibetan literature is the self-liberation through seeing with naked awareness. This is called, if I can pronounce it right, An Introduction to the Nature of One's Own Mind from the Profound Teaching of Self-Liberation in the Primordial State of the Peaceful and Wrathful Deities. A text of Guru Padmasambhava expounding the view of Dzogchen. Okay, Dzogchen, something like this, is the name of this this school of Buddhism. This particular cultural thought stream, and that is put out. Padmasambhava is the great teacher of Tibetan Buddhism. He's looked at like as another Buddha, and completely changed Tibetan culture to be Buddhist. The liberation upon seeing with naked awareness. So a purity of sight, all right, a purity of awareness, and then directing that awareness inside to see what you are, and the truth will set you free. So liberation, right? When it comes down to it, the Buddha said all truth, all teachings have the same flavor, and that flavor is freedom. It is liberation. If it doesn't taste of freedom, then it's not truth, period. And that's freedom on all sides, freedom on all, from every facet. You can't turn it around and see obstruction or hardship or uh, anything like that. One of the most popular Tibetan Buddhist mandalas is the Kali Chakra. This is the Wheel of Time, and there is a couple of uh, videos in my Buddhist playlist that I do talk about the Kali Chakra Tantra, Kali Chakra Mandala itself, and show some pictures of that if you are interested in that. So I hope you enjoyed this booktube, another one of the Buddhism from a Western Perspective series. Let me know if you have any questions or any kind of thing that you're interested in. I'll jump into it. There is a lot to talk about with Buddhism, so we'll go one step at a time, right? Thank you very much. Bye-bye.